Basic democracy, the math is simple. Everyone casts a ballot, and whoever gets the highest total number of votes wins. But the United States does things differently. A candidate can receive millions more votes than their opponent nationwide and still lose the presidency entirely. Winning the presidency requires navigating a highly engineered state-by-state strategy game with rules that prioritize map building over raw popularity. The ultimate objective isn't to gather the most individual human votes. The goal is to reach a very specific mathematical threshold, 270 points. To understand who actually moves into the White House, we have to look past the national population totals and examine the mechanics of this 538-point system. A candidate cannot easily win this game on their own. First, they need the massive infrastructure and backing of one of the two dominant factions, the Republican or Democratic Party. To earn that backing, they go through a qualification round known as the primaries. During this phase, supporters from each respective party vote to decide who will be their strongest team captain. This internal selection process culminates in a massive official gathering known as a national convention. Here, the Republican Party formally locks in their chosen candidate, announcing them to the country amid thousands of delegates and heavy celebration. The Democratic Party executes the exact same process at their own convention. With both team captains officially verified, the board is set. The internal family feud is over. The direct head-to-head battle for the nation begins. We enter the campaign phase. For months, the candidates travel the country, holding grassroots rallies to energize their base and persuade undecided citizens. Beyond local speeches and ads, they face each other in live, high-stakes debates to prove their strategic competence to a national audience. Billions of dollars are spent, and months of exhaustive travel, all build toward a single day of execution. Election Day. When Election Day arrives, millions of citizens head to the polls to cast their individual ballots. These citizens are not actually voting for the president, but for a proxy group of local representatives called electors. This diagram shows the system layout. The nation fractures into 50 state-level minigames with 538 total electoral points. These points are distributed by population size. California controls a massive chunk, while Wyoming controls very few. The crucial rule here is the winner-takes-all mechanic. If a candidate wins just 51% of the popular vote inside a specific state, they capture that state's entire point value. Any extra votes beyond that narrow 51% majority do not earn the candidate any additional points toward the 270 they need. Because of this ruthless state-by-state math, a candidate can rack up millions of surplus votes in highly loyal areas, yet lose the overall election by failing to capture the right combination of points across the rest of the map. To a modern observer, discarding millions of raw national votes feels like a system that has lost its way. Because nearly half of the U.S. population lives in just 9 states, this point system forces candidates to look past those dense coastal urban centers and address the needs of the rest of the geographically vast country. The Electoral College requires candidates to build a broad, geographically diverse coalition instead of just driving up voter turnout in a handful of massive cities. Once the noisy public campaigns end, a quiet phase begins. In December, the electors officially cast their legal paper ballots based on the points won in their states. The final step of this grueling multi-year process occurs on January 20th, when the victor takes the public oath of office. The new president assumes command, moving into the White House to lead the country. The American election remains the world's most complex test of geographic strategy and mathematical optimization. In almost any democratic election around the world, the rules are remarkably simple. You tally up all the ballots, and the candidate who secures the highest number of individual votes is declared the winner. The election operates as a massive strategy game composed of 50 independent, state-level mini-games. Each state acts as its own distinct contest. If a candidate wins a state, they're awarded specific state points. When you add up the value of every state, there are exactly 538 state points up for grabs. Because of this point distribution, modern presidential campaigns focus their efforts entirely around winning these specific state-level mini-games. To win the presidency outright, a candidate must reach a threshold of 270 points. Out of the 538 maximum points available, 270 represents the absolute majority needed to secure the win. Almost every state operates on a winner-take-all basis. Winning by a single ballot secures 100% of the points. Conversely, running up millions of excess individual votes in a state a candidate already controls provides 0 additional electoral points. This explains the paradox. Because excess popular votes don't translate into extra state points, a candidate with overwhelming popularity in a few large states can lose to a candidate who narrowly wins a strategic combination of many different states. The presidency goes to the person who efficiently combines just enough state victories to cross that 270 line, making the overall national popular vote mathematically secondary. On Election Day in November, citizens casting their ballots are technically choosing a designated slate of people known as electors. In mid-December, these winning electors gather in their respective state legislative chambers to cast the official, legally binding votes for the presidency. This December meeting is the moment the 270-point threshold is officially finalized. The entire process reaches its conclusion on January 20th. This is when the winning candidate takes the oath of office, officially assuming the powers of the President of the United States. From the local citizen's ballot to the strategic math of the 270 threshold and the final oath in January, the American election remains a state-driven process rather than a direct national democracy.